So I've cleared the table to start my sewing. Well, mostly cleared the table. And then I thought, oh, it's just so cold out there. I've been in and out bringing fuel in to light the stove. I've been feeding the birds, which is very important. Probably the most important thing to do. Then I thought I'll make a loaf of bread. Now, for those of you who already have the Old Cottage Guide to the Deep Midwinter, this recipe is in there. It's a wonderful recipe because you just mix it all up, put it into your what's called a Dutch oven. I have the I have to find it. My Dutch oven is somewhere, probably in the pantry. And as I was just sorting out the flour, so I've got the strong bread flour here, I thought, I might make some Christmassy biscuits as well. So I've been getting out all my books. I've got, there's the Happy Pear, that's a lovely one. The New Vegan. I like that no-nonsense advice. Deliciously Ella. Rainbow bowls. So I'm just looking for a very simple recipe. Now this one, which is in Let's Veg Out. I mean, there's just so many vegan cookery books now. This one is quite simple. So we've got the unsalted butter, which of course would be vegan butter, caster sugar, plain flour, corn flour, I think I have that, milk and hundreds and thousands. Well, you see what I do something a wee bit different. I take the very simple recipe and then I roll it out and I cut little Christmassy shapes out, you know, stars and snowmen and such like. And then I put some icing sugar on the top and then I put some sprinkles on. So it has a rather festive appeal to it. So anyway, I'm doing 3 things now. I'm multitasking as is my usual. So I'm making little curtains for the window. I'm baking some bread and I'm going to be making some biscuits. Wish me luck. Okay, I have amended the recipe because I want to have the bread today. Normally you'd let this rise overnight. Now I have tried this before and it's worked for me. What I've done to amend the recipe, first of all, I didn't have any wholemeal flour. So what I've done is I've taken the white flour and I've just doubled that. I've added sunflower seeds, which I usually do anyway. I've added milled brown flaxseed and I've also added pumpkin seeds, okay? Now, I have used a whole sachet of the dried yeast. You'd normally only use, I think it's 1 teaspoon. So I've used a whole sachet. I've mixed it in with the water. I've mixed it all in together and I've also added about 3 handfuls of walnuts. Let me just see if I can get this. So it's nice and gloopy, see? There's a nice gloopiness to it, but it's still quite, it's sticky, but not too sticky. So I'm going to put this into the Dutch oven, which is this. It's basically a big heavy cast iron oven. Cast iron saucepan, I suppose. I'm going to put some olive oil in there and a little bit of flour. I'm going to put this in. I'm going to let it rise and then I'm going to bake it. We shall see. Do you know, I must just say, 18 years ago when I began the Bealtaine project, people did think I was a bit crazy. Because the world was awash with plenty. You know, there was no sort of limits to how much you could use, and everyone kept going, and But anyway, I chose this cottage mainly because I could afford this particular one. It was a bit of a mess. Nobody wanted it. But it had its own spring well. And I knew that by putting in a stove like this, I was going to have unlimited supply of hot water, which I have. Now you can see from here, right, okay, it's very hot. Those are just old bath taps. So everything was done on a very tight budget. As you know, if you've read the book, A Cottage and 3 Acres. But now, at this point in time, I'm probably the best off in terms of my heating, my energy use, water, which is from a spring well. There's no bills there. Well, there's no bills in Ireland for water anyway. The fact that I have unlimited hot water, it's very much just about lighting this old stove, this old Stanley range. And I've even got the oven heating up now as we speak. So that's where I'll be baking my bread. And up here, I've got some clothes area, and I must take those out. I'm going to pop the bread, which is now in this pan, in this crock pot, or whatever you want to call it. Cast iron saucepan, I suppose. Dutch oven. So that's going to be popped up there, and the bread will rise beautifully up there. Just to explain that, how the system works. This also heats the radiators, by the way. So it's not terribly efficient when it comes to heating the radiators, because I had a very dodgy plumbing job done here initially. But there's enough heat from the radiators to keep the air temperature warm-ish, cosy-ish. And then later on, when I do sit down, I should be lighting my stove there. So, yeah, it's easy enough for me to keep warm, and doesn't cost the earth. Well, the bread is rising. There it is. And instead of making biscuits, I put my sensible hat on and decided to make a soup. So that's just coming to the boil. And again, the recipe for that is in the NO Cottage Guide to the Deep Midwinter. It's just a basic soup, nothing fancy, and very wholesome. So now I think I'll crack on with that sewing. Soup finished, bread still rising. It's a lovely soup. I've blended it just with a little hand blender. And I put spinach in with it to make it extra good. The bread is continuing to rise, so I'll give it another half hour or so and then bake it. The oven is almost hot enough. So I've got the old curtains down. They've got quite a lot of little inhabitants in there, living rent-free in my cottage. Anyway. I've given them a bit of a shake out in the barn. So I'm just using one of them as a template for measurement and for cutting. And I'll crack on with this now. Well, the first set of curtains have been completed and I'm very happy with them. Really gives a jolly look to the kitchen window and makes it look even warmer as well, which I think is good. So there we go. So I'm going to be doing the red gingham curtains down here as well. But not today. I'm going to put my feet up and relax. I've got a book with my name on it. Well, not quite my name on it, but you know what I mean. So I'm now looking at my bread, which is risen almost to the top. I think it's time to put that into the oven and bake it. The final piece of the jigsaw that is today, Sunday. This is my loaf of bread. Now it's upside down at the moment because I've just turned it out. It has walnuts in it and pumpkin seeds and sunflower seeds and linseed, and it's just waiting to be cut. But I have to wait. I have to be patient. So blessings to you all on this beautiful Sunday, and have a lovely, lovely week, and keep warm. Keep warm. Blessings. Now, for those of you who are interested in the calendar, here it is. It's the months and the days of the week are all in Irish, and it celebrates the Celtic festivals. Like that, the back of it there. And there's some interesting writing along with each month. Then there is the NO Cottage Guide to the Deep Midwinter, which is this one here, which is lovely because it has all the recipes, all the lovely little things about Midwinter. Recipe for brownies in there as well, and biscuits. It's all very much a celebration of the winter and the solstice. Then, of course, there is A Cottage in 3 Acres, which is my first book. There's over 70 photographs, colour photographs in the middle for you to enjoy. And that details the journey from 2004, the very beginning, up until 2013. Then my second book, In Search of the Goddess Rising, a really in-depth exploration of the goddess culture here in the west of Ireland and all things pertaining to it. And my final book at this point in time, Walking Between Worlds, which is about the fairy face, the she, the other world. I dive into aspects of Atlantis and UFOs. It really is a weaving together of so much that is yet to be explored. A little view of NO Cottage when I first bought the cottage, and this was the land looking up from the road and the land looking down from the cottage. Blessings to you all.